think about it, right? Made you like the podcast element of Substack made you really look at the platform and what they're trying to offer.
I just looked at it like 3 or 4 times, and I never even seen that podcast part until like more recently.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, they got a podcast aspect of this. That's cool, man. I want to check it out.
I think they have video too now, but I'm not 100% on it. And I know they're just trying to get big people on there, which makes sense. Like, offer all the little things that you can offer. And that was what I was going to talk to you about, is books. Like I said, you've read the furthest on the book, and something about, you know, the written word. I don't know if people read it as much as they listen to it in audiobooks.
Right.
And I was thinking, because my book is kind of, not only is it uber long, but it doesn't end really. I'm not going to finish it. I told you about that, how it just keeps going. It's part of the narrative.
Right.
That to me, I'm like, well, then that works as a podcast.
Right.
Because it's infinite. Like, you could do that. And then, like, my general structure of the story was, I had this 3-part plot structure that I had in my head, and then as I was writing it, it kind of expanded, because it's a fantasy novel. That's what they do. And then that was my goal, would be to take all those expansion pieces that don't necessarily add to the entire the base story that I had in my head,
right,
and use those on separate different platforms. Some for the written, some for the podcast.
Right, yeah.
Keep some for the print when I finally get enough out there to print it. You know what I mean? Publish.
And you narrating it could be a podcast.
Yes, exactly. But I'm not the best at narration.
What does that mean? You can't read?
Oh, I can read.
Yeah, like
what do I do when the girl characters start to talk? Do I do a girl voice?
No.
No, you don't do a girl voice?
You're not acting it, no.
I wouldn't do a girl voice.
Or
because
get Arya.
I could get Arya to
y'all can just both do it together? I mean, unless there's multiple characters in that.
There's multiple characters, but she could just do all the girls. If I felt that bad about it, like if I listened back to it and was like, no, it's not working. Even me just saying it isn't working. You know what I mean? Like, then I could get her to help me.
I think, too, the whole idea, like, is having different ways to engage people on your content, because
it's quicker to listen to something too.
That's
and if they listen to a couple, then they might go to the reading.
Right.
You know, and then you can
some people are readers, but yeah, some people just ain't. But I think some people just use certain platforms. Like, some people are married to certain platforms.
And like, well, they don't know about other platforms. I told my sister-in-law, who she makes websites now at least, and she didn't know what Substack was. And I was like, it's a pretty big platform, you know? Like,
but you don't know until you know. Like, there's a lot of... Look, I've had my podcast out since, like, June, and I just realized yesterday that it ain't on iHeartRadio. I put it on iHeartRadio yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. It wasn't ever on there this whole time.
Oh, shit.
So I was like... Because the way it works is you have to manually upload your RSS to each one of these platforms. You know what I'm saying? Which is... You just miss them sometimes when you're doing it all alone. I'm doing a lot of shit every day, you know, so it's like sometimes I don't...
iHeartRadio is a big one to miss.
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's like one of the main, like it's a...
It was on Apple and Spotify. What else was it on? What other...
It's on... Well, like, Apple's kind of weird. It has this thing where if you put it on Apple, it goes on Stitcher and this other platform called Overcast. It was on Radio Republic. It was on Google Podcast. It was on, it's on Anchor. It's on all these platforms, but...
Apple has a distribution model to other platforms.
Right.
Which is what you want, kind of.
Yeah, I just didn't even know that until I uploaded it to them.
But iHeart and Spotify are probably self-sufficient enough where they don't expect to.
Spotify is turning into one of the main fucking platforms
for
podcasts. Yeah, like fucking people. I didn't even...
Really?
I didn't realize that. Well, I think I just am one of the people. I'm always in my own world. I don't really, you know what I'm saying?
There's so much shit to take in that you
don't realize. I don't realize what other people do at all. To be honest, I don't like.
And then the fact that I'm not like super computer savvy really hurts that too, because I don't know where to go with everything.
What I did, bro, is, and obviously I'm not got no huge following, but I made a separate account for my things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a podcast Instagram, I got my music Instagram, I got my regular Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So anyone who's on this platform, that's what they're here for. Nobody's here, you know what I'm saying, seeing mixed content, and it's like,
well, you gotta do crossovers every now and then.
I do. I cross advertise and whatnot, but at the same time, I don't want to just. I ain't on my main Instagram putting hella music on there because
you don't want to push. Somebody who likes your podcast might not care that much about your music.
Right. It's just they're not here for that. You know, it's like they're not here for that. So I do cross advertise sometimes, but at the same time, I still battle with that though because my biggest platform is my main Instagram, and I don't post none of my shit on that because
you don't repost.
Nah, just because people ain't on. Like when I was I did at first, and then my people that are watching my story went down.
Oh really?
You know what I'm saying? So it was like I get it. People don't really
want to be sold.
That's not what they're here for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what they're here on this platform for. So I said I'm going to create a platform.
Are stories more successful than just posting it? They're more urgent because they're more.
I think they're more focused. Yeah, they're at the top of the page. You know what I'm saying? They're more like immediate. They're more intimate. It's like some shit that happened. Yeah, like
right now.
Yeah, it's like
And you don't ever like retweet yourself from your podcast page.
Yeah.
Or not you know what I mean?
On Instagram, you mean?
Yeah. Repost.
I do. Just not a lot. And mainly what I mean is just my main platform. I'll cross advertise on the music and the podcast, like fuck it, because they're both content.
Well, they're linked.
Right? Yeah.
They're very
they
linked.
kind of wash one hand washes the other in a lot of ways. But it's like, fuck it, man. I'm just creating platforms, and anybody who wants to be here. And you can unfollow it if you don't want to see it. It's all good. I don't want anybody in the platform that don't want to see it. So fuck it.
Don't waste your time with it, right? If you don't, don't enjoy it.
I post and I put hashtags because hashtags are a good way to market. I think people follow hashtags.
Yeah, they do.
So it's like people literally. I get hella. If on Instagram, it's cool because you can turn your thing into a business profile or a creator profile. And I can see how my insights on each post, how many people engaged with it, the impressions. I can see if they engaged with it from the hashtags.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Which is, I get more engagement from my hashtags than I do just on the news feed straight up. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm with the hashtags. I was against it.
You were?
Yeah, I just didn't like the way it looked. Hella hashtags on the post. You know
doing
what
a hella hashtags makes you seem a little desperate.
Yeah, but at the same time,
it's not.
That's just a connotation. That's just a common understanding. That's
what you do to let people see it.
Fuck it, I don't care. Like if it's some kind of pride thing, then
there is a little. You know what I mean? Like when you first go to do it, there's a little pride where you're like,
definitely.
That seems a little like too much.
I'm begging for it.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you have to have a group of people. You got to find your people.
And that ain't like some sort of fact.
Well, and
like you're just begging for attention.
Those websites will like. If you're not on a bunch of stuff, you're not really seen at all.
Right.
They'll hide you after a certain point.
I got a random podcast listen in Argentina. That's my only listen outside the country is in Argentina.
Do they listen to a lot?
No, it's only like a 1% or something like that of my total listens. But it's like
1%
at the same
of your total
time,
listens.
Yeah. At the same time though, it's like that's somebody outside of this country listen to just a conversation that I had, you know what I'm saying, like months ago, and I get paid for it. When I go to sleep, if you listen to my podcast, I get paid for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it monetized on all them platforms. So.
How do you get paid per view listening to a podcast? How does that work?
Well, what happens
is it ads or?
It's an ad because I started out on the podcast platform Anchor.
Okay.
That's the platform that hosts my podcast, right?
Yeah.
And the way it works is you set it all up for free, and after you get 50 listeners. Unique listeners, mm-hmm. You are available for like ads. Like you can start putting ads up, but what happens is you don't get to control the ads. They hit you with the offer when they feel like they have something.
Yeah, something that'll fit your podcast.
So mine is, if you've listened to my podcast, the beginning of it is me reading an ad saying, like talking on Anchor, like trying to sell you on the platform. Because that was my ad opportunity. They said,
just advertise us.
They said just advertise us and we'll pay you for that. So I did that, and
because I had never even heard of Anchor.
Right, which is awesome, man. I stumbled across it on Instagram through ads. They had a sponsored ad, and I stumbled across it, and I just honestly, bro, I added it to my phone as an app, and I was just toying with the idea of starting a podcast. I wasn't gonna do it. And I kept trying to get my buddies to do it with me, like Preston and Carl. I was like, dude, like, come on, man. Y'all are funny. They said they would do it, but...
They haven't done an episode yet?
No.
I mean, I know I said I would do this a while ago. I'm over here.
It is what it is.
It is
what it is. Everybody lives their own life, so you can't even, so it's whatever. But at the same time, I was just battling with the idea, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it.
And that's why you got to do it by yourself sometimes.
Right.
Which is tough to do.
It's sometimes you just got to make the progress and learn on the job instead of just
it'll make you better
being stagnant. Right.
Yeah. That's what, dude, like lately I've been trying to write at night, and I was doing really good for about 2 weeks. I would go to bed, I'd clean up, it'd be like 11:30, and I would sit down to write, and I would get chapters done, and then I don't know, last week or so, like, I'm just exhausted at that time. And then the time changed back, so now 11:30 is 12:30, and I am asleep, and I can't stay awake to do it.
I definitely get it, bro. Like, it's so much discipline. That's why.
Is it discipline? That's what I'm saying. Like, where's the discipline line come in when you're just tired and you need some sleep?
That is the discipline. Like,
just not sleeping.
Not sleeping.
I know, right?
Right.
That's the only option you have.
Right.
And then you get mad about it because you're just like, you're tired,
right.
You're irritable, and you're like, I want to fucking sleep. I need some sleep because this isn't gonna be as good if I don't sleep.
That's true, man. All those are.
But it's like eating. Like I'm overweight. Like, you don't need to eat that much.
Right.
Like I eat too much. And honest to God, that might be why I sleep too much. Okay, I'm playing a game.
Well, I was like listening to Lil Russell. He said something about that. Like, if you're willing to work all day and then come home and then work on your side hustle, then that's discipline. Which is like, that's his take on it, but at the same time, yeah, like that's up to you. If you get your shit done, there ain't no, like, I don't feel like...
It feels good when you're getting it done. You know what I mean? When you're writing. But it's like when you go to sit down and do it, and then you're, like, trying to write, and you're trying to get stuff done, and then you delete because you're like, that's bad. I got to fix that.
See, writing,
but then you got to turn off the editor. You got to just put the page... You know what I mean?
I've never really done, like writing like that, so it's like, I don't know. But, yeah. I do, like, I watch a podcast on the dude who invented Entourage, the TV show.
Okay.
And he says he fucking hates writing, but he loves when it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When he looks back on it and it's out and it's done, and he
you're like,
loves that feeling.
Yeah, this is cool.
But he said it's torture writing for him.
Yeah.
And he wrote Entourage. It's like one of the most successful shows on HBO ever. It's like...
I watched the movie. I didn't get into the show.
I would say the show's a lot better than the movie.
Is
for
it?
Sure, yeah. I think so. But I think I have a lot of personal bias towards the movie or the show because my dad watched it when I was a kid. So,
so
it
you
was
got
like,
a little bit of it then?
It was cool, yeah. So, like, by the time I became older and got HBO Max, I was like, I gotta watch this shit. Same with Sopranos. Sopranos.
Dude, I haven't seen The Sopranos.
Sopranos is cool, man.
I know. I've heard amazing things. I need to sit down. But then it's like, how many seasons is The Sopranos?
It's only like 6.
Yeah. Only like 6. That's
funny. A lot of the good, like, best shows have a lot more
seasons.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never watch Frasier. There's 13 seasons of what?
Yeah, like, even Entourage is like 8 or 9 seasons or something. So
yeah.
It's a lot
when you do comedy, you can keep people around for a longer time. So Substack, like, that idea of, posting and then letting people subscribe because it's continuous. And then my novel.
Subscription-based
platform. And then I see everybody that's read my book, everybody that's subscribed to read it. And so, like, you have the most stars. I don't know how far you've read, but you've read the most, apparently. What?
Yeah, I like the idea of a subscription platform.
And they do podcasts on there, too.
Which is why what I was kind of wanting to ask you about. When I clicked on there, I seen something about podcasting.
Yeah, they just added that feature. I don't know how good it is.
And I tried to do something with it, and it wasn't really, like, very easy. It was seeming, like, weird. And I like to have the podcast on every platform, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard. You got to kind of manually do it.
The trick would be to, and this is what I was about to talk to you about. Yeah. The trick would be to just do one special podcast every now and then on that platform. You know what I mean? And then do most of your podcasts on everything.
Well, yeah, that's the idea is that I'm just, I'm putting a 5-song project out on December 5th.
Like a little album.
Yeah.
Well, what's the small records called?
EP.
EP?
Yeah. It's an EP, like, and I'm putting it comes out on Apple Music and all that December 5th. You trying to roll that window down?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. That's me.
But, And right now I'm doing a thing where you can pay me any amount, and I'll send you a link to it early.
That's
you know
dope.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it can be $1. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter the amount what it is. I still get paid for the streams as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the streaming payout is very small.
Minimal.
Like, right, it's like not even a penny per stream. You know, it's less than a penny per stream. So it's just an idea.
Is it half a penny? How
It's
many?
less than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like
That makes-
0.0003 or some shit per stream.
I kind of get it, but then at the same time, it's like, do you have
Well,
words
they
on your stuff yet?
Yeah, it's an album. Yeah,
It's an album,
it's
okay.
an album, and I made all the beats, and I wrote all the raps, and I recorded myself, and I fucking.
Now
It's
I
a
got
little 5-song project.
I have
you know?
a musical ear. Like the other day, Casey played a Taylor Swift song,
Right.
and he played just the instrumental, and we're sitting there and we're like, this is bad. Because like I remember liking the Taylor Swift song fine with the words, you know what I mean?
That's a whole instrument.
Yeah.
The voice is an instrument for sure.
And like rhyming the lyrics, you know what I mean? That's like that's part of it.
That's
I think.
you though.
Yeah, that's what you like, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you can
that's
hit a
you.
lot of people with that.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, and
don't
I
think
definitely
any-
lean on words.
Yeah,
I'm
a lot of-
crutch to words. I'm writing a novel, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You're a wordy kind of. Yeah, I think I've always liked word searches.
Word searches?
Yeah, and I didn't think that ever like meant anything, but I do kind of feel like it has something to do with the fact that I just like words. I don't know.
And like well, what is it? Language dictates how you think, or changes how you think. Which language you speak.
Really? What do you mean?
I don't know. Studies. The idea that people that speak different languages have different ways of coming about thought.
Right, that's crazy.
Yeah, so the idea that I'm attached to words is probably just a part of that. You know, that's the way I think. And then I've already fucked myself over by focusing on words too much in my life.
Right.
College and then writing a book.
Bro, yeah, I like the idea of Substack because I like the idea of having that exclusivity.
Yeah, and then you know everybody that's subscribed.
Right.
You can email them directly with something else if you want. Take that email list over to something else.
And that's really taking advantage of being independent because that's what we both are as independent publishers, right? Like, and exclusivity is one of your main leverages as an independent creator.
That's the only leverage.
Right.
Yeah, like honestly.
Well, time, like I said, I'm putting this project together. It don't come out for a month, but if you Venmo me any amount of money, I'll send you a link to it. You can hear it early. You know what I'm saying? So that's me leveraging time as an independent creator. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. That makes sense.
I got it from the idea came from this dude named LaRussell. He's an artist from the Bay, and he did the same thing. And I was just hella inspired by it. I paid him $5 for his album, and I got his album early. And it was just dope, man. I did it for the marketing. I didn't even really care about the album. I just thought it was dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that
I was
idea.
Like, yeah, and I was like, I'm definitely doing this for sure. You know what I mean?
Was the music good?
Yeah, I like his music.
A lot. Has he got a lot of songs on there?
He's one of them dudes who really is inspiring me a lot because I've been putting out a lot of music, and he put out like 15 projects in 1 year.
Is it Russell or Russ?
His name's Lil Russell.
Lil Russell?
Yeah.
Lil Russell?
Like
Russell.
L.A. Russell, you know, that's his name, that's his government name is Lil Russell.
Okay.
And he's from California, but he's super innovative in terms of independent marketing and like that, you know. You might catch a lot of wisdom off of this shit.
No, the independent marketing thing is like a rabbit hole. Like you could do anything. But then now, like, the returns on Facebook ads and Instagram ads and shit is diminishing. And
really?
They say it's not as good. And that, to me, is like, okay, so are you putting money into a blank hole and they're just going to throw you up on a bunch of bots' Facebook pages and say they exposed you?
Have you ever used
No, I have not.
Ads?
That's why
I've used Instagram ads.
And they're successful for you. I'm not on Instagram.
Depends on what the idea of successful is. I had a lot of impressions, but I didn't have a lot of. And at the time, what I was offering, I wasn't super. Like I'm offering beats, you know. Like we offer two different things. You actually have something that's more put together in terms
it's more
of
finished.
Right, like you have actual chat. Like I just now am putting even words on shit. So it's like, you know, I haven't put an Instagram ad up since like last year, I think. I don't even remember, but the impressions were dope, but I didn't have a lot of engagement, which is what you want. Right.
You want that draw. And that's the idea as impressions. I don't know if they can bot that. You know what I mean?
I don't think they can. unless that's just straight robbery, you know? Like, I don't think
That's
they're
the problem.
willingly doing it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That depends on the platform, if you trust the platform you're using.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and I don't have a problem with Facebook. I feel like that's more...
well, Facebook and Instagram are all owned by the same people. So, like, even the shit that I put on Instagram just kind of goes on Facebook. And I don't even really get on Facebook.